Hi, I'm Uncle Carl. Welcome to Twinmoonstavern. Today we're doing the Turkish classic, Menemen. Menemen is a pretty common meal in Turkey. It's an egg dish. Just about every family has it almost every day of the week for breakfast. You can also have it for lunch or dinner, whenever you want. Basically, it is poached or scrambled eggs in a tomato sauce base. It is super easy to make. There's a lot of flavor in it, and let's get to it. First, we're going to go ahead and prep all our vegetables. I'm going to have 1/2 of an onion, and I'm just going to slice it up. Just thin slices, nothing fancy. Then get yourself some garlic cloves, about 2 or 3. Just put the flat of the blade down on top of it, and then just give it a pop. And that is going to break it up and get the peels so they just come right off. Go ahead and just run your knife through them a couple of times, give them a slice. Watch your fingers. And then just go ahead and give it the rocky choppy until you get a minced stone. This is a very rustic meal. Don't feel the need that all these have to be the exact same size. I mean, you want them to be roughly the same size, but there's no reason to go crazy about it either. Now, before you get to the pepper part, you need to ask yourself, how spicy do you want this? Now, if you don't like it so spicy, A, don't use as many peppers as I am, and B, see all those seeds and the ribs or the pith? You want to go ahead and get all that out. Not just the seeds. Everybody thinks it's just the seeds that has all the heat, but those white pithy parts, or also known as the ribs, those have a lot of heat in them as well. If you like them spicy, go ahead and leave them in there. And then just run our knife through it, making them into small little bite-sized pieces. We're handling these peppers. You need to be sure once you start doing this, not touch your face, and wash your hands really thoroughly before you touch your face again. Now, ideally you're going to get some Turkish green peppers, but unless you have access to a specialty store, you're probably not going to find them. Serranos, habaneros, poblanos, whatever you want to use, go ahead and use. I try to use more than one type just to get a slightly different, more complex flavor profile going. Use some that you're going to like the flavor for, and the heat factor isn't going to be too much for it. Now, we're going to go ahead and get ourselves a can of tomatoes. Normally I would use fresh tomatoes, but because of the time of year, fresh tomatoes aren't really any good. So canned tomatoes are better. If you're going to go with canned tomatoes, go with whole tomatoes. They're the better quality ones. Anything that's crushed or pureed or anything like that, they use the lesser quality ones for those. And we're just going to kind of squish these between our fingers. Again, this is kind of a rustic meal, so I'm not going for anything terribly fine or pretty. And when you're crushing these, be careful because they will shoot out tomato sauce all over the place. Once they're broken, just go ahead and go through and give them a good squeeze. And that's going to break them up. If you're using whole tomatoes, or fresh tomatoes I should say, you want to go ahead and just dice them up, rough chop them into small pieces. Leave all the sauce and the extra bits in there. So it's all going to turn into a sauce. The last thing we're going to prep is our cheese. A Turkish goat or sheep cheese. It's going to be hard to find unless you have a specialty store. A feta cheese is the closest thing you're going to be able to find. So now with the cooking, put your pan on a medium-high heat, a little bit of oil. Go ahead and add your onions. a little bit of salt. Always season as you go. That way each component that you're adding has the opportunity to get seasoned throughout. And we're going to let those cook, frequently turning them for about 5-8 minutes until they start sweating and they start getting translucent. If you want to, you can dice these as well. I'm just going for the long strands as a means of adding a little extra texture to it. So once they have sweated and they're just beginning to caramelize, go ahead and add your peppers. Give them a good stir in. And we're going to let these go for about another 5 minutes. Add a little bit more salt. Like I always say, season as you go. So now we're just going to add tablespoon and a half of butter. Just a little extra layer of flavor. And then your garlic. And you're just going to let that cook for 30 seconds to 1 minute maximum. Just enough so they get good and aromatic. And then carefully pour in your tomatoes. Juice and all. Give it a good stir. So we're just going to bring this to a light simmer. And that's just going to be enough to have all the flavors marry together and mellow out a little bit and combine into this really nice mixture. So now it's been lightly simmering for about 15 minutes. We're going to take our cubed cheese and we're just going to sprinkle it throughout. Now the egg part of this dish, people do them scrambled, people do them poached, either of those ways, somewhere between poached and scrambled. We're just going to go ahead and do a poached version. So I'm just going to crack my egg. And the eggs are simply just going to poach in the tomato sauce. Pan this size, about 5 or 6 eggs is what you're going to be able to do. Let them lightly poach. And then we're just going to let that go for a while. And we're done. Typically, it's served in the pan that it's cooked in. It doesn't have to be that way, but often it is. And you grab yourself some rolls and you just kind of sop it up. If you want, you can also just kind of spoon out some and put it on your plate, however you want.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Say hi to Shadow, everybody.
Hi, Shadow.
Oh,
Smell good?
that smells good.